Welcome to chapter 9, the last chapter of the names. Next chapter, we'll go into Saul, King Saul. The end of King Saul, actually. But here we have the last chapter, the genealogy of the tribes in Jerusalem. Now, if you noticed, all the genealogies are all paternal, almost all men. Every once in a while they'll say, give the name of a man's wife. This is a paternal lineage. The Greek, I don't know Hebrew, but I know Greek has a masculine, feminine, and neuter for every noun. It'll give it a gender, masculine, feminine, and neuter. And women, of course, are feminine, men are masculine. You can't change that in Greek. It's the way it's been for thousands of years. Somebody today may not like the idea of somebody being masculine or so forth because everything today is in upheaval. People are so confused they don't know if they're male or female. And so here, God has made it so you can figure out what you are. If you have a name that has the masculine O, the article, then you know that you're a man. If it's an eta, then you know that you're a woman. And if you're a woman, you can't become a man because it won't allow you to in Greek grammar. English, I guess you can change it if you want, because English is sort of a mongrel language. It comes from all different languages and has been developed and changed over the years. I can barely read King James English from the 1500s. I can't. But I can read the Greek from thousands of years ago. 3,000 years ago. Pretty amazing. So you're studying something here that God wrote for an understanding that's very, very clear and definitive. A lot of people don't like that. They want to change the meanings of the Word of God to fit their lifestyle. So they'll change something, a word. But if you go back to the Greek and you see it, well, that just doesn't work. You can call a Vasileon an emperor, but it's really a king. So people have tried to do this. If you don't see the original, somebody can get away with it. You wouldn't know the difference. And this has happened quite a bit in the King James. I hate to tell you, but it did. It has. Now, with this genealogy will continue, and it says, and all Israel traced descent. There's a genealogy in the verbal form. And behold, they are written, gegrameni. It's a participle, part of a verb. They are written, grama is in there, upon the Vivliu, scroll of the Vasileon Israel, kings of Israel and Judah. And they were resettled in Babylon. So this means this part was written quite a bit later, after the Babylonian captivity. And they were resettled, why? Because of their breach of contract, which they transgressed. They walked away from God. And like mentioned in many places, that we can also walk away from God. We have a free will to do that. And the ones dwelling prior in their possessions, in their cities, were Israel, the priests, the Levites, and the ones appointed. And in Jerusalem dwelt from out of the sons of Judah, and from out of the sons of Benjamin, and from out of the sons of Ephraim and Manasseh. The rest of the tribes were pretty much all part of Israel, the northern kingdom, which was long gone by the time that this is talking about here. And now it goes into the names. Uthi, son of Ammiud, son of Amvri, son of Emvri, son of Benjamin, from the sons of Pharez, son of Judah. So now we see these are all came from Judah, the son of Israel. Judah became Israel, I'm sorry, son of Isaac. And of the Siloni, Asaiah, the firstborn, and his sons. So see, he has more. Again, the Prototokos, who mentioned with Mary and Jesus being the firstborn, brothers and sisters. And from out of the sons of Zerah, Eiel, and their Adelphi, brothers, 690. And of the sons of Benjamin, Salo, son Mosolam, son of Othoiah, son of Sanaah, and Eavana, son of Eroam, and Elo, son of Uzi, son of Machiri, and Mosolam, son Saphatiah, son of Raguel, son of Eamnai, and their brothers. This is a diaresis, a double dot. You split the diphthong. AI would be A. It would be Eamne if you didn't have that diaresis above it, the double dots. But the double dot says split the diphthong. The diphthong are two vowels together. Here's O-E. See, and their brothers, Adelphi. If it was a diphthong over the iota there, it would be Adelphoi. But it's not, it's Adelphi. According to their Genesis, the generations, book Genesis, 956. All the men, rulers, archontes of families, according to the house of their patrion, the families and maternal, like I mentioned earlier, it's all paternal. And of the priests, Eodai and Eoriv. No, this is not ba, but va. Eoriv. And Elohim, and not ka, but he. Elohim and Azarias. When you roll the R, which I generally probably don't, Azarias, Eo, son of Elkiu, son of Mosolam, son of Sadok, though, not da, though, Sadok, son of Merioth, son of Ahitob, ruler of the house of God. Somehow in the people that are these are priests, so they're Levites, and they're in the house of God. And Adaiah, son of Eroam, son of Phaseur, son of Melchii, and Maasi, son of Abdiel, son Ezra, son Mosolam, son of Masalimoth, son of Emir, and their brothers, Adelphi. Igumeni, leaders according to the Econ Patrion Avton, their houses of their families, 1,760, mighty in strength in ergo, work, of the service of the house of God. They're all workers in the house. And from out of the Levites, Sameas, son of Asub. Now, not every Levite was a priest, but only of Aaron. And Ezrikam, son of Asaviah, from out of the sons of Merari. And they were priests. And Vakvakar, and Aris, and Galal, and Mattanias, son of Micha, son of Zechri, son of Asaph, and Abdiah, son of Samaiah, son Galal, son Iduthun, and Varachias, son of Asa, son of Elkanah, the one dwelling in the courtyards of the Netophati. All these are Levites. And the gatekeepers, Salum and Akuv, Thelmon, Achiman. Now, this gets me to thinking that this was during the temple time because of the gates. And their brothers, because the they had one opening, I believe. And their brothers, Salum was ruler, archon. And unto here, in the gate of the Basileus, the king, according to the Anatolas, the east, Anatolia, it means east. We have the country of Greece, Anatolia, Turkey. These were the gatekeepers for the camps of the sons of Levi. And Salum, son of Korah, son of Aviasach, son of Korah, and his Adelphi, according to the Ikon Patrion Apton. The Korini were over the Urga of the service, guarding the thresholds of the skinis, the tent. We have seen in English. It relates to the early tents where they had plays, and they had scenes in these plays, and somehow it went into English as a scene. And their pateras are over the camp of the Kyriou, guarding the entrance. And Phinehas, son of Eleazar, was Igumenos, leader over them before Kyriou. And with these, Zacharias, son of Mesolamiah, was gatekeeper of the door of the skinis to martyriou, a martyr, testimony, the tent of the testimony. All these being chosen for gatekeepers at the doorposts, 212. These with their properties of their genealogy and their distribution, these were counted. And David and Samuel the seer established them in their trust. 4102, Pisti. Here we got an interesting 4102 to 4104. We have the pistos, which is an adjective. That's 03, I believe. 4102, pistis, which is a noun. And pistevo is a verb, to trust, and pisto, to be trustworthy. Now, the King James came up and invented this word faith. Well, I don't use it because here it would be. David and Samuel, the seer, established them in their faith? No, in their trust. It wouldn't be belief. That wouldn't make sense either. But faith doesn't fit anywhere because faith, you can't faith. It's not a verb. It's not an action verb. Well, this is not an action verb either. This is trust. But in the verbal form, pistevo and pisto is to believe and to trust. And to trust is used in belief all the way through all four of these Greek forms. But faith wouldn't fit the verbs. And I hope you understand that. It's very important to see why I left out the faith. Everybody tries to figure out what faith is anyway. I get like, oh man, no wonder English is so messed up. Nobody even knows what the English is. And these, their sons, were over the gates of the Iku, house, economy of the Kyriou, and the house of the skinis, tent, to keep watch. The gatekeepers were stationed according to the four winds, four sides, according to the east, Anatolas, and according to the west, that's Thalason, the sea, Mediterranean, Thalason, the Thalactic comes from that, and Voran, the north. We have the Aurora Borealis, the Bora comes from that, the northern lights, and the south. And I don't know a word in English for that, any derivative. And their brothers in their properties were to come for the sevenths of the times to enter for 7 days from time to time after these, and go into the Holy of Holies and the holy place. Not the Holy of Holies, they go into the holy. And this is what Zacharias went in to offer the incense at the time, and the angel appeared to him, and then he was dumb because he didn't believe, I guess, what the angel told him and all that, and that's in the beginning of Matthew, as far as Luke. For in trust of office, see, it's not belief of office, are the four mighty ones of the gatekeepers. They, the Levites, and they were over the chambers and over the treasures. Thesavron, we have a thesaurus, treasury of words in the house of God. And they shall lodge surrounding the house of God, for upon them was their watch responsibility. The watch, that's what Zacharias was in. And they were over the keys morning by morning to open the doors of the temple. They had these watches numbered. And some from out of them were over the equipment of the ministration, liturgias, liturgy. For by arithmo, count, arithmetic, they carry them in, and by arithmo, they bring them forth, counting them. And some from out of them were placed over, a P, upon, the equipment, and over all the holy items, and over the fine flour and the wine. All this was in there being made for the bread loaves and so forth, and the wine and the oil and the frankincense and the aromaton. We have almost a transliteration there, aromaton, aromatic. And some from the sons of the priests were perfumers of the perfume with the aromatics, and maybe that would be for the incense. And Mattathias from out of the Levites, this one was the firstborn to Salum the Corino. He was in trust over the works of the sacrifice of the pan, of baking the breads. I think that's the pan is for the breads. And Baneas the Cathetes from out of their Adelphone brothers was over the breads of the prothesios, the place setting. Those are those bread loaves that they set out in front. I think it was 12. They're being prepared Sabbath by Sabbath, and these were there when David fled from Saul later, and he ate of these breads that were prepared, and Doeg, an Edomite, saw him and reported to Saul, and Saul came and killed all the priests for helping David. And these are the psalm singers. Psalto thee, Sal has to do with psalm, but I didn't highlight this because it doesn't have a me in there. It's Salto thee. But whenever you Sal, see the C-A-L, C alpha lambda. The rulers, archontes of the Patreon of the Levites, in the chamber being set in order for daily rotations, for an imeris, ephemeral day, and niktos, nocturnal night, for them to do the ergis, that should be highlighted, works. These are archontes Patreon of the Levites, according to their genesis. These are rulers, archontes, dwelt in Jerusalem, and in Gibeon dwelt Iael, father of Gavaon, and the name to his wife was Maachah, and here's one woman out of all these. And his son, the firstborn, was Avadon, and Sur, and Kis, and Vael, and Ner, and Nadav. Now Kis is the father of Saul. And Gedur and his brothers, and Zechri, and Machaloth. So this basically, a lot of this was a genealogy of actually it changes in 35 here. Up there we have the Levites, and now in 35 we're going into the Benjamites, where Saul was from Benjamin, tribe of Benjamin. It's interesting that the first king was not of Judah, the line of Judah. It came to an end with Saul. But then with David, he was of Judah and went all the way down to Jesus. So all the kings were not of Judah. And his son, the firstborn, was Abdon, and Zur, and Kish, and Baal, and Ner, and Nadab, Gedur, and his brothers, and Zechri, and Machaloth. And Machaloth engendered Samaon, and these dwelt in the midst of their Adelphon, brothers in Jerusalem, with their brothers. And Ner engendered Kis, and Kis engendered Saul, and Saul engendered, that's King Saul, Jonathan, Elnathan, and Melchizedek, and Avinadab, and Isvaal, and the son of Jonathan was Merival, and Merival engendered Micah, and the sons of Micah, Pithon, and Melchiel, and Thara, and Azaz. And Azaz engendered Eodah, and Eodah engendered Alemoth, and Ameth, and Asmoth, and Zimri, and Zimri engendered Meosah, and Meosah engendered Vanaa, and Rapha, his son, Eliasah, his son, Asiel, his son, and to Asiel were 6 sons, and these are the names of them: Ezrikam, the firstborn, again, all these other ones, and Ishmael, and Sariah, and Abdiah, Anan, and Asah. These are the sons of Aziel. All the names. Now we go into the story of, we pick up at the end of Samuel. So now we're in the end of, actually, First Kings, and end of Saul. All the things that Saul did to kill David, David marrying Saul's daughter, and all these things are not mentioned in Chronicles. It starts at the end of the life of Saul. Basically, the rest of this is mostly on King David. So, chapter 10, next video seminar. Hope you'll join us. Till then, and God bless.